Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to give an article titled Why Physical Attraction Matters in Romantic Relationships According to Science. And guys, this article is written by a woman, and when I first saw this article, the title and all, I thought it was an interesting article that's going to show that, yeah, physical attraction is necessary for romantic relationships, and science is proving that. Okay, that's what I thought was coming about, because a lot of times you hear women give guys a hard time because they say they shouldn't be so shallow and superficial about looks, that they should like a woman and be attracted to her because of her personality and how great she is and her sense of humor and a whole laundry list of traits, and shouldn't care so much about looks and body type and all that. I thought this was an article where it was obviously making the point that, yeah, obviously science says that you need a physical attraction. And then I started reading and found that no, what really is going on here is that this woman is using science as an excuse to justify her friend zoning a nice guy. No joke, that she's using science about the whole attraction things with science to make her feel better about friend zoning a nice guy because she wasn't attracted to him. That's what's going on here, and that is the real meaning behind this whole BS. The article, based on the whole research which she's going to talk about with science, I do agree obviously with a lot of that. But what's really going on here is just a justification for her friend zoning a nice guy. And once again showing that nice guys always finish last. So, getting into this, because it is interesting, some of the information here, and I'll give credit where credit's due, some of the things are being said. Starts off, according to research, looks are more important than we'd like to admit. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about your dream partner? Chances are you talk about their sense of humor, kindness, understanding, and maybe lastly, looks. No. If this is from a guy's perspective, we're talking about her ass. We're talking about her big chest. We're talking about her sexy legs. We're talking about all things physical. Then after all that's covered, then we may be talking about personality. But when it comes to women, as I said this before, with guys, looks are 100% at the top of the list. It's always going to be that way. In a romantic situation, romantic relationship, she could be the coolest girl in the world, but if we're not physically attracted to her, it's never going to work. Ever. She has to meet the bare minimum in the looks department for what we have. And we all are a little different in terms of what we find physically attractive. For women, looks are important, don't get me wrong, but they're not always the top of the list. Oftentimes, confidence is almost always number one. Sense of humor, status, obviously ambition, drive, things like that. Looks could be usually 3, 4, or 5 on the list. She says, but for some reason, we tend to describe our dream partner in terms of personality traits rather than appearances. For women. My guess is this is due to our fear of coming across as superficial. Well, I got news for you, honey. We all know y'all are superficial anyway, so let's cut the bullshit. I am just as guilty as this. Right here, she just said it. I'm just as guilty as this, since I've always thought I explicitly chose to focus on meaningful connections with people instead of falling for looks. Just imagine you meet the sweetest, romantic, intelligent, and wittiest person on the planet. Perfect in almost every aspect except a lack of physical attraction. What would you do? I admit that I did break it off with a nice guy because I wasn't attracted to him. For some reason, I couldn't get over the fact that I didn't find him attractive enough, and in all honesty, I felt bad to break it off with him. The nice guy. Now, she's not saying physically attractive. She's just saying attractive. Okay, there's a difference. There's physical attraction in terms of the body, the face, all that, and there's genuine attraction. It can be both looks and a combination of personality. But she's not talking about the looks. She's talking about just genuine attraction. And since she described him as a nice guy, I'm guessing that obviously he had a lot of personality traits that turned her off. Because obviously she said she broke it off with him. Therefore, she obviously was involved with him for some period of time. So obviously his physical looks, which this whole article is supposed to be about, was obviously enough to have her obviously date the dude. Okay, I don't know how long. But what she's talking about here is obviously his nice guy personality traits that turned her off. Remember guys, nice guys get friend zoned while the bad boys go to the bedroom. Understand that. The only time the nice guys actually don't go to the friend zone is when the woman gets to a point where She's ready to settle down permanently, and then she'll pick out her nice guy to marry, because the bad boys aren't going to marry her, or the super high value guys, they're not going to be interested in married or married her. So she's got to go pick her nice guy out, which women can pick out a nice guy a mile away, and she'll settle for him and think that's what she wants. And you know how those marriages usually end up, because I do plenty of stories just like that. This whole thing is for her justifying, with science of course, why she friend-zoned, to make her feel better about friend-zoning the nice guy. Anyway, she says, I felt bad to break it off with him. However, this experience aligns with what researchers found regarding how important attractiveness in romantic relationships really is. So she's using science to justify her, breaking it off with a good guy. For a romantic relationship to flourish, according to experts, physical attractiveness is a must. However, Robert Kurzban and Jason Whedon were able to show that when it comes to dating, observable attributes such as attractiveness, height, and age were more important and not substantially related to harder to observe attributes such as religion, education, or the desire to have children in the future. Look, anybody that says that that looks don't matter are full of shit. Okay? Especially if a guy says that, okay? Any man that ever says that looks aren't important and everything, he is full of shit. He is completely full of shit. He's probably just trying to kiss ass to women, and they'll see right through it. Now, for women, a lot of women, like I said, there's other traits that are top of the list, but they want looks too. Believe me, they notice guys that are walking down the beach, and they're tall, and got a muscular body, or even better yet, a six-pack. Okay, we know the sixes: 6 feet tall, six-pack, 6 inches down south. Okay, those are the sixes, physical attributes. So don't act like they don't care about that. Yes, they do. According to science, there is no difference in how we value attractiveness between online dating and real-life dating. In other words, whether you meet someone online, in a bar, or at a speed dating event, physical attractiveness always plays a key role whether they want to enter into a relationship or not. She says, but why does physical attractiveness take precedence when individuals make real-life dating and mating decisions? Because it's a romantic relationship. That's why, where obviously physical intimacy is going on. That's why looks play the role. Why is it that the most desired relationships are the ones who we find attractive? And lastly, is there a difference between men and women when assessing a potential partner's physical attractiveness? Well, we're all different in terms of what we find attractive. For men, generally, if she's got a nice sized chest, a nice shaped ass, good legs, long hair, we're pretty much in. Okay, now everybody's a little different. Some guys might like women with a little bit shorter hair, but that's usually rare. Some guys may be really attracted to women with gigantic chest as opposed to, medium size. Or some guys may like women that obviously have much more meat on their bones, very, very curvaceous. But generally, guys are pretty easy in that department. But for women, you could have one woman that loves guys that have tattoos all over their body. Another woman would be turned off by that. Or one woman might like guys with bald head or buzzed heads, while some women would be turned off. Or another woman might like guys with long hair, and for others, it would turn them off. So women they have a lot more preferences than guys do. Goes on. Researchers suggest that men seem to be more consciously aware of the importance of physical attractiveness than women. However, both sexes, regardless of sexual orientation, value physical appearance equally. Furthermore, scientific studies and data from online dating and speed dating come to this conclusion. This leads us to question, why are we so susceptible to looks? Because it's a physical relationship, that's why. Okay, now she's obviously, we know, trying to justify her actions for breaking up with a nice guy, but that's what this is all about. But still, physical relationship is going to be about physical looks. Okay, there are various approaches to this, which have a lot to do with what we perceive as beautiful and intercept certain personality traits. For example, beautiful people are likely to be happier and have more fulfilling life experiences than those who are not. We tend to idealize physical attractive people while expecting less from people we don't find attractive. Moreover, research show that there is a cross-cultural tendency to link beauty with good attributes. Well, look, I've known some people that could definitely be categorized in the beautiful, very good-looking department, and they weren't always exactly the nicest people and seemed very happy with themselves. Okay, so, that's not always the case. That they're beautiful or so physically attractive, that means they're happy and all that. That's not the case always. But not only what we associate with beauty has an influence. Another perspective on physical attractiveness is that it acts as a gatekeeper to something more significant. For example, physical beauty may work as a gatekeeper, directing people to partners who are healthy, suitable age, and capable of reproducing. All right, well, this is why so many men love young, beautiful women, because the bodies are fit and healthy, and that youth shows fertility. Okay? So many women get bent out of shape because men that are older are attracted to, and if they can certainly do it, will be involved with younger women. You could have guys in their 40s, and believe me, if they can pull it off, if they can get them a gal who's in her 20s and she's darn good looking, they'll pick her every time. Mark my words. Even if they don't have a whole lot in common, because the physical drive is always going to win. It's certainly a bonus if they have a lot in common and they have a lot of chemistry and all that. That's certainly nice. I think it's stupid, quite frankly. If you're in your 40s and you can get girls in their 20s and you got nothing in common, I mean, that's fine for hooking up. But I mean, in terms of actual relationship, I just don't get it. You got to have something to click, you know. You could be, you have to have everything in common, but you got to have some things. Or a dude in his 50s with a woman in her 30s. You see where I'm going with this? Well, that's just me. It says, this might indicate that we derive underlying attributes that might be vital for a fruitful overall relationship from our appearances. So if beauty has an enormous impact on our behavior, is it worth asking what is considered attractive in the first place? She says, while we all fall for the beauty is good stereotype, thankfully, who is attractive varies depending on who you ask. There are various factors for this, from how well you can talk and exchange ideas with a person, how often you see someone, to how ambitious a potential partner is. These qualities greatly influence how attractive someone is in our eyes. Well, what she is describing is not physical qualities. She's describing just traits about that person, okay? So this whole article is supposed to be about the physical attractiveness, but she's talking about traits. And again, back to the whole nice guy she said that she obviously dumped, okay? He obviously had traits that turned her off, okay? And I'm guarantee you the guy she's with, the guy that she probably broke it off with him for, or one day will be with, will have the traits that, not physical traits, but the actual personality traits, because now she's on to personality traits. When she says it's supposed to be about physical traits, like I told you, women don't know what the fuck they're talking about half the time. This guy, the new guy, probably has the traits that more of the bad boy type. She says, furthermore, people do not necessarily want partners who are extremely attractive, just attractive enough. Well, that sounds like, I did a video a couple days ago about pretty much this guy and this girl. He wrote a story where many of you guys saw this, it did well, the video. It was from Friday, where he found out that the girl was deliberately trying to keep him down because he was a good-looking guy. So that other women, he wouldn't leave her for other women. Okay, a lot of women do this, where they try to sabotage things, or a lot of times they like their guy to gain a little weight or dress like an idiot, so that way other women can't get him. No joke. And so they'll want a guy good looking enough, but not too good looking that other women are going to be after. But again, what she just said there is classic that comes from women. It says, interestingly, beautiful people see few other people as physically attractive. In contrast, less attractive people may find a wider spectrum of people physically appealing. In any case, finding someone with a comparable level of physical beauty to you can help you have a more successful long-term relationship. In other words, having someone on your level. Overall, research suggests that appearance is a substantial component, if not the most important component, in a relationship. Well, for guys, but it's been proven actually, but it's been proven that women actually, the physical appearance is not the top of the list. But she's trying to make it out to be, because this is what her excuse for breaking up with a nice guy. We want to be attracted to the person we're dating. And when there's a lack thereof, people tend to search further, abstain, or lower their standard. But in any case, we want to be with someone we find attractive. What may start with the first glance at the photograph on a dating website or at a bar might transform into something amazing. Just as many other traits, when it comes to dating, looks are an important building block of a relationship. Even if we aren't always sure if we find someone attractive, this doesn't mean we can't have our preferences. Although I felt bad to call it quits with the sweet guy I wasn't attracted to, it allowed me to go out on other dates. In giving myself the permission to meet new people, I learned a lot about myself in the process. It wasn't the looks about this guy, it was his personality. Because again, first she said the nice guy, and now she's saying the sweet guy. He just didn't do it for her. She obviously went out for him for a bit. His looks weren't so bad that it turned her off, because she's saying here, if his looks were that bad, she wouldn't have dated him in the first place. But obviously it was enough. But obviously it was his nice guy behavior that turned her off. It always happens. How many women are with guys that aren't exactly good looking? They're challenged in the looks department, but they have the charisma or the personality, or they just are bad boy types, and they get the girls. How many of you guys have seen beautiful women? These guys are like, how the hell do you get her? Well, that's probably one of the reasons. She says, by loving myself and finding myself, I found out what makes someone truly attractive in my eyes. Today, I am in a wonderful relationship with a great guy I find very attractive. Physically attractive or attracted by his personality? And she may say it's great, but I have to wonder if it actually is all that great, or this is her convincing herself of that. In the end, this is what I sincerely wish for every other person in this world, to fall in love with someone who is right in every sense for them. So, the whole article, which I thought initially was a whole science article about looks and attraction and all that, which is always interesting. What this really is her just using that as an excuse to justify her dumping the nice guy for probably the bad boy. That's, I think, what's going on behind the scenes. I've been doing this for over about a year and a half, guys, and I've read so many stories, so many articles, and you learn to really very quickly just read between the lines like that. It's entertaining. So, anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Hope you enjoyed that. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.